What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Booth podcast, episode number 9, as we're breaking down the New York Yankees today, and we got lots to break down. Let's get right into it. As you know, the spring training for the Yankees has been interesting, to say the least. You know, the record is the record, but I mainly focus on what the hitters are doing and the prospects. But these prospects, they've been playing pretty well. Anthony Volpe has been kind of the main story, as Jason Dominguez just got sent down to the minor league camp, which I'm not surprised about. Jason Dominguez has not played any AAA ball, so it's good to see him. He'll start the season as well in AAA, and he's come a long way. From low A to all the way up to AAA now. And spring training, he was raking. He's had a bunch of home runs and, can bat from both sides of the plate, which makes him very dangerous, especially that he can hit well on both sides of the plate. And, even in the Prospects All-Star game, he had a home run at Dodger Stadium from the right side of the plate. And, he's smashing the baseball on the left side in spring training. So that's good to see from Dominguez, and hopefully we see him up soon. Either we see him this year in the MLB or next year. But, I really wonder if this is going to be like a Juan Soto type of situation. Juan Soto was called up at 19 years of age and ended up bringing a championship to the Washington Nationals. And I wonder if that's going to be with Dominguez. But, I'm not saying, the Yankees are winning the World Series this year because we called up Dominguez. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying is maybe the impact of Dominguez maybe could be huge for the Yanks if they bring him up sooner than later. We know with Aaron Judge, he got called up a lot later, but I wonder if this is this type of player with Dominguez, that he's going to get called up is either age 20 or age 21, but nonetheless he's a star and he's got a great future with the Yanks, and I'm glad, the Yanks have kept on to him and Volpe, because, this is the future, and, it's good to see prospects develop into potential superstars, but regardless, it's going to be a good season for the Yanks, I think, but they all have to be healthy, I think, with the Yankees, that they have to be, healthy, and I think just with this team, health has been a main concern. We look at that Astros ALCS where they got swept. And, you look at some of their injuries. Michael King, injury. Ron Marinaccio, injured. DJ LeMahieu, injured. Andrew Benintendi, who they acquired from the Royals, injured. And now Benintendi's on the White Sox, obviously. But, it really makes it interesting. If the Yankees would have pushed this a few more games, if they had those players. But the Astros were just a powerhouse, and they're going to be one this year, but it'll be interesting with them too, with, Jose Altuve just getting injured yesterday in the World Baseball Classic. He suffered a hand injury, and I believe he's out 8 to 10 weeks. So that'll be interesting with the Houston Astros, but their division really isn't that great, so I still expect them to be at the top of the league and at the top of the AL West, because the Rangers aren't good, Mariners are up and coming, so they can maybe go for a run and maybe try and overtake the Astros, but the Rangers are bad, and don't even get me started with the Athletics. Athletics are very bad, but the Mariners are a good team as well. They could really go on a run with their young prospects and young talent. Julio Rodriguez looks like the future for them, and he's an outstanding player as well. But let's get back into spring training. One in particular guy that I would like to point out that has not been good, and that is Luis Severino. Luis Severino has been brutal, to say the least. You look at his numbers, obviously 0 wins, but that's really nothing because it's just spring training. That's not what I'm looking at. He's got 14 Ks in 11 innings, a 10.64 ERA, and he's allowed 11 hits in 11 innings. So he has even spoke to the media that his slider has been trash, and The Yankees need Luis Severino to be healthy this year, because you look at his numbers when he's healthy. 2017, he was 14-6 with a 2.98 ERA. Then they go the year after that in 2018, 19-8 with a 3.39 ERA. When he's healthy, he can really, boost his pitching staff to another level. And, if this pitching staff that consists of Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino, and Domingo Germán, if they can all be, solid, and, Garrett Cole, leading them the way, they could, I think, easily run away with this division. With this division, I think it's really just them and the Jays for the race. I don't think the Rays are that good. I don't think the Red Sox are that good. But I think the Orioles are decent, but just not there yet to overtake the Yankees or Blue Jays. And, we saw what the Orioles did last year. They went on a bit of a run. So I would not be surprised if they try and do that this year again. With Adley Rutschman, a future star, and even Gunnar, their prospect could be very good as well. But another thing I love to see is Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo smashing the baseball. Aaron Judge, he's the guy that the Yankees have to rely on. And, the Yankees kind of relied on Judge too much last year. And when Judge went missing in the playoffs, the whole team couldn't hit. They even honestly made that Guardians team look better than they were, I thought. I don't think that Guardians team is that good. It was just the Yankees' defensive problems and just not hitting the ball well enough. And, that was an interesting series that just took too long, I think. And then the Yanks head into Houston and get their butts kicked, basically, to say the least. Getting swept in 4 games and really not showing much until their backs were against the wall in Game 4 at Yankee Stadium, where tickets were going, $10 to $20 for a Yankee playoff game. You never, ever see that. Tickets going for $20 for a playoff game. But, this AL, it's in the Yankees' hands. They really, I think they're a great team on paper. It's, I keep saying this, it's just staying healthy. If this team could stay healthy, they can be good. They could be a 100-win team, win the AL East, and probably head back to the ALCS, where they're probably playing the Houston Astros. I think the Houston Astros are just that team to beat right now, and I don't see anyone else beating them. They've made the World Series too many times in the past recent years, and they've won a few. They beat the Phillies last season, and they've done a lot of good things recently. But we all know about the cheating scandal, but that's all over. That is all over, and this team is still elite. They still got elite talent with Alvarez, Bregman, Jose Altuve when he comes back. They got some underrated pitching with Javier, and I believe his name is Valdez as well. They got some great bats in this lineup. Even Kyle Tucker. I can't believe I forgot to mention him. Those are all really, really good players. I even forgot Jeremy Pena. It doesn't end. This talent on this Houston Astros team. It just doesn't end. And even they got Jose Abreu in free agency, which I think is a good signing. But, I think how I look at this NL as well, it's very, very good. We look at the NL East in particular. You got 3 playoff teams right there with the Mets, Braves, and Phillies. And then you look at the NL West. You got the Dodgers, the Padres. And then the other divisions are decent, but, those 5 teams I just mentioned are very strong candidates to making the World Series. And even the Phillies just, went out and got Trey Turner, who just hit a grand slam yesterday to have the USA to advance to the next round. So, Trey Turner's a stud. He's one of the best shortstops in the league, and he will forever be that, probably until he retires. But, something else I would be surprised about for this Yankee team is if I see IKF and Aaron Hicks in this starting lineup. Aaron Hicks has been brutal in the outfield. He's been brutal at everything. And he didn't make a good case when he said he was going to go 30 for 30. And he hasn't done that. Aaron Hicks, he's an interesting player. I feel like he's a guy that randomly, at the weirdest cases, hits a home run, and then he goes ghost for another 10 or so games. And, he's had some decent moments in his Yankee career. He had a diving catch against the Twins. He had a home run off Verlander off the pole in the playoffs. Last season, when I was actually at the game, he had a home run to give the Yankees the lead, I think. And then Aaron Judge walked it off. So, he's had some decent moments with the Yanks, but just not enough to make him an everyday starter, especially in this spring training. I don't think I've seen a worse outfielder than him in a while. He called off Volpe, I think yesterday, and then he drops the ball, try to make a weird diving catch. That just can't happen. Some of the things he's doing is just unacceptable. And I think IKF is decent. He's on a 1-year deal, $6 million, but I think Peraza and Volpe are just gonna overtake him, and then obviously you got DJ at third and Rizzo at first, and they're trying him in the outfield a bit. I think just make him a utility player, and teams love utility players. You would always love a guy that's able to play everywhere at a good rate. Good. Just good skills at every position. But with this Yankees team, to wrap this one up, the Yankees, in my opinion, are the franchise that has the biggest expectations out of any other sports team. Soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it. Okay, this team has won 27 World Series, and they haven't won one since 2009 against the Phillies. And this team has had multiple chances to spend on the big players, but they did not. They had Harper and Machado right there, but they decided to go a different route, and now we see how good Harper is and how good Machado is. It'll be interesting, next offseason, where Juan Soto's a free agent, whether he goes back to San Diego or the Yanks make a splash. It'll be interesting, but, I think this Yankee team, it's really just staying healthy and making sure they get the Astros out. Because once they defeat the Astros, they'll be in the World Series. And, pitching is going to be a big thing. I think Nestor Cortez needs to have another good year. And Severino. Severino's got a contract year, so maybe, he puts up good numbers and, gets a little bit of a payday. But, regardless, he needs to be good, and his stuff needs to get better soon. And, we all know Tommy Kahnle is still injured, and Rodon is now injured as well. So it'll be interesting how this Yankee team unfolds this year with the injuries. But, regardless, this has been always fun to talk about the Yanks. I am your host, Vin. And as always, let's go Yanks. And so long, guys. Peace.